done that together, too. And Ted is, Ted Kennedy and John McCain don't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, but they're really close friends in the Senate. That goes for Orrin Hatch from Utah, a senator, a very conservative senator, loves Ted Kennedy. And I've spoken to many very conservative politicians and people who are involved in politics outside of elective politics, who describe themselves as dyed-in-the-wool conservatives. And though they disagree with Ted on so many issues, they respect him and like him and get along with him.
Yeah, his past, and I guess this is a positive side too, in a way, in a twist, that he has overcome so many negatives that would have sunk anybody else in public life. Nowadays, we see one thing happen and you're out.
Yeah, politicians, the slightest thing for a politician, they're all over you like white on rice. I mean, they just, it's unrelenting. But for him,
he stepped in it so many times.
Yeah.
That you think he wouldn't have recovered, and he has.
But that just goes to show it's almost like, he's bulletproof.
Well, I that is a very good point, because these days, you sneeze the wrong way and you're out. And this man has done a lot worse than sneeze during his time. I mean, after all, he left a woman for dead at Chappaquiddick. He was involved in one way or another with his nephew and son's rape incident in Palm Beach.
Yes.
He and Senator Dodd were caught in a restaurant in Washington making a sandwich out of a waitress.
A waitress, right on the table.
Go on and on and on, and give chapter and verse of all the bad things that Kennedy has done. And yet, he survived all that. Not only survived, but I think that he, in many ways, has redeemed himself. It's fun to look back and see all the bad things he's done and all the good things he's done, and to try to make some sense out of this character, this very American character, flawed guy, no question about it, but still a classic American icon.
Yeah, sometimes he seems like an elitist. Other times he seems like he's gushing with compassion towards the downtrodden. And he is a real dichotomy. It's hard to sometimes...
It's kind of really hard to pinpoint Ted. You can't really quite put your finger on him, because just when you think you do, he's something else.
But on the
he's
extremes,
a chameleon.
On the extremes, you have people who really love him, and of course they do in Massachusetts. They keep re-electing him.
Right.
And then you have people who really hate him and probably wish he would croak tomorrow and go straight to hell.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because since I wrote this book, I've received emails and letters and other communications from people, and it's been exactly that. There are people who say, boy, oh boy, I loved your book because you showed all of his great accomplishments. And then there are people who have written or emailed and said, I read your book, and you yourself portray all the bad things this guy has done, and he doesn't deserve to be alive today for, all the things. I wish he were dead. So you're right. There is passionate feeling about this guy, and people really cannot agree on a lot about Ted. But I do think there has been, since his battle with brain cancer, an outpouring of compassion and sympathy for him, and a sense that this is not a minor character who's passing from the scene. This is a major, important person who's played a major role in our public life for a very, very long time. And one way or another, for better and ill,